Good morning, everybody. This is Mike Peters with the Pottsville Church of Christ, and it's time for our morning devotional. So if you have your Bibles, let's get them out and let's turn to the book of Luke, Luke chapter 6, and I'm going to begin reading in verse 27. Again, that's Luke 6, verse 27. Jesus is speaking here, and he says, "But I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you, and pray for those who spitefully use you. To him who strikes you on the one cheek, offer the other also. And from him who takes away your cloak, do not withhold your tunic either. Give to everyone who asks of you, and from him who takes away your goods, do not ask them back. And just as you want men to do to you, you also do to them likewise. But if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. And if you lend to those from whom you hope to receive back, what credit is that to you? For even sinners lend to sinners to receive as much back. But love your enemies, do good, and lend, hoping for nothing in return, and your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High. For he is kind to the unthankful and evil. Therefore, be merciful, just as your Father also is merciful." These words of Jesus to the first century audience, to this Jewish audience, would have just been absolutely mind-blowing. This would go against everything their culture really practiced. And quite frankly, this tends to go against our culture today as well. We have a mindset many times that has been instilled to us growing up of, you do to me, I want to do the same to you. But here Jesus is not just stating the golden rule as we've come to know it, but is also telling us and showing us how it is to be put into practice. And as you wish that others would do to you, do so to them. That's the golden rule. And we've kind of taken that and made it a little nice catchphrase. We'll make a meme about it. And anytime some social unrest pops up, we'll throw this out. And yet we don't really ever put it into practice. But can you imagine a world where everyone practiced this golden rule, as we like to call it? Can you imagine a world where people treated everybody else like they want to be treated themselves? Normally what we do is we treat others how they treat us. So if they're ugly to us, we're ugly back. They steal from us, we take retribution in some way. They are mean to us or speak ugly to us, we're the same right back to them. And Jesus here plainly says, if we act that way, we're just acting like everybody else in the world. We're no different. And we as the church are called to be different. We as Christians are supposed to be separate from the world and separate and think differently from culture. And yet many times, even we as Christians will act just like the world, in that we don't put into practice what Jesus is teaching right here. He begins by saying in verse 27, love your enemies. And this idea of love, our culture in modern English, the idea of love is just so misconstrued. We think of love as infatuation, the butterflies you feel in the stomach. But that's not the love that Jesus is talking about here. This is agape love, and it's this idea of wanting what's best for those around you. And so Jesus isn't saying have butterflies in your stomach for your enemies. When someone comes up and beats you up or talks ugly to you, you just love them and have affection toward them. That's not what Jesus is saying. He's saying you want the best. You desire the best for your enemies. And so when an individual mistreats you, you're still to act in their best interest. For instance, let's say someone came up to you and cursed you upside and down, spat on your face, spat right in your face. We would be insulted, we would be hurt, we'd be angry. And then the next day, we see them and they're on the side of the road with a flat tire and they're trapped or they're stuck. If we put the words of Jesus into practice, into our lives, we would pull over and change that tire for them. or help them get their car started back and on the road. That's what love your enemies means. That's what Jesus is talking about here. We are always to act in the best interest of those around us, whether they use us, are spiteful to us, talk ugly to us, steal from us, or whether they're our best friend. We always act in the other's best interest. And he sums that idea up with this golden rule. You treat others how you want to be treated if you were in that situation. And can you imagine a world where that's put into practice? Can you imagine a world where everybody, we want to be treated kindly, so we're going to treat everybody with kindness and patience. We want people to be understanding to us, and so we treat them with understanding. We want people to forgive us when we fail them and make mistakes, so we treat people with forgiveness and we offer forgiveness freely. Imagine a world like that. And then, let's really bring it home. God treats us that way, doesn't he? Think of how we have hurt God with our words, with our actions. Think of how mankind throughout the history of the world has hurt God through their words and through their actions. And yet God still always treats mankind with kindness, with grace, with love, with mercy. We are to turn around and to treat each other the same. Mankind mistreats God with their actions and words as we sin against God. And we're all guilty of it, but God sought the best interest in mankind. And John 3:16 tells us this, doesn't it? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. God sought the best interest for the world. And so what did he do? He gave the life of his only begotten Son. That's how God treats us. That's how we're to treat other people, constantly seeking their best interest, even if they mistreat us and hurt us. Imagine a world where everyone put this principle into practice. This is Mike Peters with the Pottsville Church of Christ, and I hope you're finding that these morning devotionals are starting your day off in a positive way. If you like this video, want to see more content like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell notification, and like this video. And if you hit that bell notification, you should be notified when another video comes online. If you're watching this on our Facebook page, be sure to like this video and share it on your page. And that way we can get the message of Jesus out to as many people as possible. This is Mike Peters, and I hope everyone is going to have a wonderful day today. And don't forget, always